Hey everyone, Matt here from VapeRev. In this EDU, I'll be demonstrating how to rebuild the SQuape Reloaded by Stattqualm. For this build, I'll be using a 6/7 wrap of 26 gauge kanthal and planning for a resistance of between 0.8 and 0.9 ohms. So here we go! Before I start the rebuilding process, I'm just going to walk you through all the tools and materials you'll need for it. So starting over here, I have my SQuape Reloaded, and that's sitting on my Lord's Edition by Dominus mods. You'll need some scissors, some needle nose pliers. This is the Allen key that comes with the SQuape Reloaded, a Phillips head screwdriver, a drill bit to wrap your coil around, and this is a 7/64 size drill bit, a section of cotton, about 6 inches of kanthal wire, and for this I'm using 26 gauge, some sort of torch, and of course your e-liquid, and this is one of my go-tos, it's Keen by Classified. Now I'm going to just remove my old build, so first thing is just remove the tank. Side. Grab my Phillips head screwdriver, just back off these screws a little bit. And just take off the old wick and wire. And now I'm going to go rinse all of the components of the SQuape Reloaded in a little bit of warm water. Now that I've rinsed everything off with warm water, I'm just going to give it a quick dry. Let's get the atomizer deck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the chimney from the SQuape, and that's what I'll need the Allen key for. So you just fit the Allen key into the center of the chimney right there. And this will give me the ability to dry out the tank and make sure there's no water left in it. Side of the chimney as well, might as well. And now I can go ahead and put it back. Slide that into the tank. And it'll catch the threading pretty easily, and you don't need to over tighten it, just get it snug. Alright, now we can move on to making a wick and coil. Before I actually start wrapping my coil, I'm just going to hit the wire with a torch really quick, which will take the tension out and just make it easier to wrap. Be careful you don't burn yourself. Just gonna let it cool for a second and then start from the other side. Alright, and I'll let that cool. I'm going to grab my drill bit. Alright, and the coil I'm going to be building is going to be a 6/7 wrap micro coil. And that's going to put it right at about 0.8, 0.9 ohms. So I'm going to start from the underside. Just wrap it over. And then I'm just going to start making my coil. That's 3 wraps. That's 4 wraps. Five wraps. 6. And the last one is 7. So that's our micro coil, and you can adjust it once you get it onto the atomizer to get the coils a little bit closer together if you want. So now we can go ahead and attach this to the atomizer deck. I'm going to leave the atomizer coil onto the drill bit as I attach it to the SQuape's atomizer deck, and that'll help just keep its shape. And you want to attach it so the leads are coming off the top of the coil. So I'm just going to lay this down in the middle of the channel right here. Going to hold it down with my fingers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the top, wrap it around this post, and hold it with my finger. Tighten this screw down here. Get it nice and snug. I'm going to test just to see that it's anchored, and it is. So then I'm going to do the same on this side. Twist this around real quick. Pull this around, hold it down with my finger. And just test this lead to see if it's anchored, and it is. So now what I can do is I can just wiggle off the excess wire, just like that. Alright, remove my drill bit. And now we can go ahead and put the atomizer onto my device and start test firing it to see if I have any hot spots. I'm going to grab my Lord's Edition and put the SQuape onto it. And now I'm going to start test firing it, and to do that I'm just going to pulse the switch just to make sure if I have any hot spots it doesn't pop my coil. I don't see any hot spots right off the bat. That actually looks pretty good. I don't think I'm going to need to adjust that at all. Alright, everything looks like it's glowing evenly, so now I can go ahead and let that cool and add my cotton. I'm going to take my section of cotton and I'm just going to twist one of the ends into a point so I can get it through the coil. You don't want your cotton to be overly tight inside the coil because then you're going to get dry hits. So just so it's snug, so it provides a little bit of tension when you're pulling on it. Alright, so just pull this through, and as I pull it through I'm just going to unravel the other end. So you can see when I tug on it a little bit, it's giving a little bit of resistance against the coil, and that's a good amount right there. Let's clean this up. And the goal of this is I want to trim the cotton right at the edge of the atomizer deck, right here and right there. And then the way I do it is I just have a little bit of cotton coming down into this channel. I don't jam it down, but I just have a little bit resting, just kind of keeps it in the proper position. So set this down for a second, take my scissors, I kind of angle the scissors a little bit, which gets me closer to the edge of the atomizer deck. Just trim off the excess. And then you can pull the cotton from one side so it's just at the edge. There is a fair amount of forgiveness with the SQuape Reloaded, so you shouldn't have many issues. What I'm going to do is just use a little point, just kind of pull this into this a little bit. Alright, that's one side. Scissors again, go to the other side. Alright. Probably need to trim off a little tiny bit more there. Okay. Tuck this down a little bit. Clean it up. And now it's time to add a little bit of E-liquid. Just gonna saturate the wick a couple times and then test fire it. Just to make sure that there's no hot spots while it is saturated, and also it helps break in the cotton a little bit. Alright, so once it's saturated, I'm just gonna test fire it, and that is vaping nicely. I don't see any hot spots. Looks like it's working well. Let's just repeat that step. And then I'm gonna just test fire it again. Nice crackle there. And I'm just gonna resaturate it one more time, and then I can go ahead and fill the tank. To fill it, you wanna run E-liquid down the side wall on the outside portion of that chimney and just let it drain down into the tank right here, and you can kind of see what your level's at through the window. So it takes a little bit of time, but you'll get used to it. So I'm just gonna run the liquid down really slowly. Alright, so now that our tank's full, you're going to keep it held upside down, flip the atomizer upside down, and thread it on to the atomizer like that. And last thing you have to do is just select your airflow setting right here. This ring, it rotates around. And that's your SQuape fully built and ready to vape. Alright everyone, that's a wrap on this EDU. As always, I hope you found the information useful and now know how to successfully rebuild your SQuape Reloaded. If you'd like additional information about the SQuape or would like to purchase one for yourself, you can find it at shop.vaperev.com.